To most alien species, humans were intriguing but confusing creatures. We weren't the strongest, fastest, or most technologically advanced species in the galaxy, yet our reach and influence spread further and faster than nearly any other. One of the oddest things about humanity, though, was our obsession with pets. In particular, there are Olvics, a feline-like species from the outer rings of the Milky Way, found it almost absurd. Their leader, Captain Kaor, couldn't believe humans dedicated resources to beings they deemed lesser. Most other races relied on pure merit and pragmatism, using only what was useful and efficient. Pets, they were nothing more than amusing parasites. Captain Kaor would often joke with Commander Thompson, the human ambassador assigned to his sector. "Tell me, Commander, do you humans not understand efficiency?" Kaor's whiskers quivered in a way that indicated mirth. "You waste precious resources on feeding, grooming, and entertaining. What do you call them again? Dogs and cats?" Commander Thompson had grown used to this line of questioning. With a half smile, he shrugged. "They're more than that, Captain. They're family, and trust me, they can be surprisingly helpful in a pinch." Kaor snorted, dismissing the notion with a flick of his tail. The Olvics had never needed pets to defend themselves. They had weapons, battle-trained soldiers, and warships. What could a human dog or cat possibly do? That changed when the Korlax invaded. The Korlax were one of the most feared marauder species in the galaxy, known for their ruthless tactics and the horrendous way they assimilated planets. No civilization was safe. No species was left unscathed. They swept in like a dark wind, and Earth was on their list. The United Planetary Alliance scrambled to defend humanity, but the Korlax were prepared for the usual tactics. Their stealth cruisers slipped through radars, and their soldier-shulking, armored brutes cut through traditional defenses like tissue paper. They were nearly unstoppable. Kaor and his ship, the Cause of Night, were stationed above Earth when the attack began. Though he had no particular love for humans, his orders were to assist. Captain Kaor found himself fighting alongside Commander Thompson and his strange pets, reluctantly forced to accept the primitive creatures into their ranks. One such pet was a Belgian Malinois named Bear, assigned to Commander Thompson as his canine companion. Thompson had trained Bear for years, and Bear could sense his every mood, predict his movements, and respond to commands with unwavering loyalty. To Kaor, Bear was a useless, oversized rodent. When the Korlax troops broke through the defense lines and cornered the group in an abandoned warehouse, Kaor watched in amazement as Bear sprang into action. Growling, the dog threw itself at one of the Korlax, sinking its teeth into the marauder's exposed joint. The alien staggered, howling in pain as Bear refused to let go. Kaor watched, stunned, as the dog's tenacity gave them enough time to fire off shots, buying them the upper hand. Bear didn't relent, only pausing when the Korlax finally fell silent. For the first time, Kaor was speechless. Thompson knelt beside his dog, offering a grateful scratch behind the ears. "I told you, Captain," he said quietly, a proud smile on his face. "His family." The Olvics captain had no words, his respect for this pet begrudgingly building. The next few days were grueling as Korlax reinforcements poured in. Bear was a constant presence, along with other pets that humans insisted on bringing along. Thompson introduced Kaor to Tango, a parrot that could mimic his voice to distract enemies and alert allies, and a Shadow, a sleek black cat that seemed to materialize wherever she was needed most. Each had their role, seemingly small, yet crucial in the grand scheme of their resistance. By the third night, Kaor's skepticism melted into awe. He watched as Bear alerted them to a Korlax ambush, barking sharply just before enemy troops rounded the corner. Shadow wove through rubble and smoke, pinpointing enemy positions with eerie precision, while Tango's voice echoed across the battlefield, throwing their attackers into disarray. The battle that ensued was brutal, but the humans and their pets held strong, fighting with a loyalty and fierceness that Kaor had never witnessed. It wasn't logical, it wasn't efficient, yet somehow it worked. The last of the Korlax invaders retreated under the ferocity of Earth's defense. Having underestimated the humans and their pets, Captain Kaor, exhausted but alive, sat her day beside Commander Thompson and Bear, who lay sprawled on the ground, equally worn but triumphant. Kaor glanced at Thompson, then at Bear, finally conceding. Your family, as you call them, is formidable, he admitted, his tone filled with newfound respect. Thompson laughed, ruffling Bear's fur. Yeah, they've got our backs. K.O.'s tail flicked thoughtfully. Perhaps there's more value to this family than I understood. As the dust settled and the survivors regrouped, Captain K.O. looked upon these strange creatures, both human and animal, with a sense of camaraderie he hadn't felt in years. For the first time, he was beginning to understand. Strength didn't always lie in technology, numbers, or brute force. Sometimes, the greatest power lay in loyalty, love, and the bond between beings who would go to any lengths to protect each other. In that moment, K.O. knew he would never ridicule humanity's pets again. In the aftermath of the Korlax invasion, Earth began to rebuild. The scars of war were evident, but the spirit of humanity soared. The Alliance held a victory celebration, uniting humans, our Orlics, and even a few unexpected allies, those very pets that had once been the subject of ridicule. Captain K.O. found himself seated at a round table alongside Commander Thompson, a plate of Earth delicacies placed before him. The table was filled with an array of humans, our Orlics officers, remarkably, several dogs, cats, and even a few exotic birds that flitted about. Each creature seemed to hold its own, comfortable among the alien and the human alike. I still don't understand how a mere animal could so effectively turn the tide of battle, K.O. said, shaking his head at the audacity of it all. You humans are truly strange. Thompson chuckled, raising a glass of synthetic nectar. Strange, maybe, but you'll find loyalty is a powerful weapon. It's not just about the strength of your arm, but the heart behind it. As they celebrated, the humans shared tales of their pets' antics. K.O. listened with a mix of disbelief and admiration. The stories ranged from Bear's ridiculous habit of chasing his own tail to Tango's infamous escape artist skills, which had led to more than one rescue mission. But amidst the laughter and joy, K.O.'s mind wandered. He remembered the fear in the eyes of the Korlax marauders as Bear charged, the way Shadow had slinked through the shadows to outmaneuver their foes. The pets were more than amusing. They were fierce defenders of their families. Weeks passed, and Earth found itself a focal point for interstellar diplomacy. Other species wanted to understand how humans had repelled the Korlax, and K.O. found himself at the forefront of these discussions. He often invited Thompson to speak on behalf of humanity, and each time, Bear accompanied them, earning admiration from various alien races. Perhaps we should consider their methods, K.O. mused to his fellow commanders one evening as they examined the tactics employed during the battle. These pets, their fierce loyalty, their instinctual understanding of the battlefield, it could change how we approach our own defenses. The Orlics leaders were skeptical but intrigued. They debated the merits of integrating lesser beings into the ranks. After all, they'd seen firsthand the impact that Bear and his companions had on the battle. I think it's more than just their fighting ability, K.O. added, a newfound conviction in his voice. It's the bond. We Orlics fight for honor, for glory, but humans and their pets, they fight for each other. That's a force we cannot underestimate. In the days that followed, K.O. led an initiative to train our Orlics soldiers alongside human pets. It started small, an exercise where soldiers would pair with dogs and cats, learning to trust their instincts and communicate in ways that transcended language. The results were surprising. The Orlics soldiers, initially hesitant, began to appreciate the animals' abilities. One afternoon, during a training exercise, K.O. witnessed a transformation. A young Orlics warrior named Vler struggled with confidence. In a moment of doubt, he was paired with a mischievous little tabby cat named Paws. As the training progressed, Vler's demeanor shifted. Paws had a knack for dodging attacks and sensing danger, which helped Vler learn to anticipate movements more effectively. Days turned into weeks, and the results were undeniable. Our Orlics soldiers began to adopt the loyalty of their human counterparts, forming bonds with the pets that were both functional and emotional. They communicated through gestures, expressions, and a surprising level of understanding. As the Intergalactic Peace Conference approached, the Alliance felt stronger than ever. K.O. stood on the balcony of his ship, overlooking Earth's skyline. The tension in the galaxy was palpable. Threats loomed from various factions still sympathetic to the Korlax cause. Captain Thompson joined him, bear trotting at his heels. "You seem pensive." "I am contemplating the future," K.O. replied. "Our training has shown potential, but will it be enough when we face the Korlax again?" Thompson placed a reassuring hand on K.O.'s shoulder. "We have something they don't. We have each a Theron that includes our pets. They fight alongside us, and that bond is our greatest strength." The day of the conference arrived, and delegates from across the galaxy gathered. Among them were our Orvix warriors, their pets at their sides, ready to showcase their new tactics and strategies. K.O. took the stage, flanked by Thompson and a few notable animals, including Bear, who wagged his tail enthusiastically. "Fellow delegates," K.O. began, his voice booming across the chamber, "we are gathered here today not just to discuss alliances and defenses, but to embrace the strength found in unity among species, and among all forms of life." He gestured to the pets at his side. "These creatures have shown us the power of loyalty and instinct. They remind us that our true strength lies not just in technology or brute force, but in the connections we forge, the love we share, and the unyielding spirit of those we choose to protect." The room erupted in applause. Humans cheered, our Orvix warriors roared, and even a few of the alien species murmured in surprise. K.O. felt a swell of pride. Perhaps this was a new dawn, not just for humanity, but for the entire galaxy. As the conference continued, the conversations turned toward mutual protection and strategies against future threats. K.O. found himself increasingly advocating for integrating pets into the defense forces of allied species, citing the unparalleled success of the human or Orvix training exercises. By the end of the conference, a pact was formed, a declaration that every species would embrace their pets as partners in defense, recognizing the invaluable contributions they could make on and off the battlefield. Back on Earth, K.O. and Thompson sat their day together once more, Bear lying contentedly at their feet. The horizon glowed with the last rays of the setting sun, and K.O. looked out over the world, seeing it with new eyes. "Perhaps," K.O. mused, "the greatest lesson is that even the smallest among us can change the course of history." Thompson smiled, glancing down at Bear, "And together, we can face anything." The intergalactic alliance solidified, and the groundwork was laid for a new era of cooperation between species. Humans and our Orvix trained together, sharing not just tactics and technology, but also philosophies. As the months passed, the bond between the species grew stronger, and the presence of pets in military operations became a standard practice. Captain K.O. found himself frequently visiting Earth, not just for meetings, but to experience the culture that he had once dismissed. Each time he arrived, he was greeted by a cacophony of barking, meowing, and chirping as pets sensed their human companions' excitement. It was a spectacle he had come to enjoy, witnessing the joy these creatures brought to their families. One day, K.O. attended a demonstration at a training facility, where a new generation of our Orvix soldiers paired with a variety of pets, dogs, cats, birds, and even a few lizards. The soldiers showcased the bond they'd formed, executing maneuvers that showcased not just strength but cooperation. "Watch closely," Thompson said, nudging K.O. as they observed a Belgian Malinois, like Bear, sprinting alongside our Orvix soldier named Vla. "They've developed a rhythm. It's almost like a dance." As K.O. watched, the soldier and the dog navigated an obstacle course, leaping over barriers and weaving through cones. The two moved as one, responding to each other's movements with instinctual grace. K.O.'s earlier skepticism melted away, replaced with a sense of admiration. He began to understand the importance of the bond, how it transcended species and brought strength in unity. While training continued, new threats emerged on the horizon. Whispers of a Korlax resurgence began to circulate, stirring unease across the Alliance. The Korlax, humiliated by their defeat, sought revenge and were rallying remnants of their forces. News reports indicated that they had formed alliances with other marauding species, eager to reclaim their dominance in the galaxy. During an emergency council meeting, K.O. Saturday at the table with Thompson and other leaders, the atmosphere was tense as they discussed the best course of action. "The Korlax will not come at us directly again," K.O. stated, his voice low and steady. "They learned it from their defeat. Instead, they will try to divide us, exploit our weaknesses. A delegate from another planet, an armored being with segmented limbs, nodded in agreement. They will use subterfuge and sabotage, perhaps even targeting our communication networks. Thompson leaned forward, his expression serious. We need to deploy our pets not just as fighters but as scouts. Their senses and instincts are unparalleled. They can detect danger and deception in ways we can't. A ripple of murmurs ran through the room as the leaders considered this strategy. Or felt a surge of hope. He knew the importance of the bond forged between humans and their pets. With newfound resolve, the council adopted Thompson's proposal. Training intensified as the Alliance prepared for the looming threat. Orr and Thompson worked closely with the animals, teaching them to identify dangers and respond to complex commands. Bear, with his sharp instincts, became the lead canine operative, while Shadow and Tango joined him in reconnaissance missions. As the Alliance honed their skills, Orr marveled at the transformations taking place. The Olvix soldiers had begun to embrace their newfound allies. Vlar, who had once been hesitant about working with pets, became a strong advocate for their integration. During one training session, Orr observed Vlar and paws working seamlessly together, the cat darting around obstacles as Vlar followed closely, adapting his movements to match the feline speed. The bond between them was clear, and Orr felt a sense of pride swell within him. "Captain," Thompson said, watching the pair with satisfaction, "this is just the beginning. We're not just fighting as separate entities anymore. We're one unit, and that's how we'll win." As the days turned into weeks, the Korlax made their move. A wave of sabotage attacks struck key Alliance facilities, crippling communication networks and sowing distrust among the ranks. Reports flooded in of Korlax forces moving into strategic positions, readying for a massive assault. In a secure command center, Orr and Thompson studied the intel. "They're trying to isolate us," Orr said, frustration creeping into his voice. "If we can't communicate, we can't coordinate our defenses." "Then we need to strike back," Thompson said, determination in his eyes. "We need to disrupt their plans before they can execute them." "Perhaps our pets can help us once more," Orr suggested. "They can infiltrate the areas we cannot reach and gather intelligence." The leaders quickly organized a plan, sending out squads of pets and their human counterparts to gather intel on Korlax movements. Each squad was a mix of species, allowing them to leverage their unique strengths. Bear and Vlar led one team, while Shadow and Olvix scout named Arzul formed another. The mission was dangerous, but the Alliance operated with renewed confidence. Each pet brought with it a unique skill set. Bear, with his keen sense of smell, could track Korlax scents, while Shadow slipped through shadows, gathering information unnoticed. As the teams moved through enemy territory, tensions were high. Orr and Thompson monitored the situation closely from the command center, anxiety building with each passing moment. Finally, communication crackled to life. "Captain," Vlar's voice came through, urgent yet steady. "We've located a Korlax staging area, but they're more fortified than we expected. We need backup." "Copy that, Vlar," Orr replied, glancing at Thompson. "We'll send reinforcements. Just hold your position." Within moments, Orr coordinated a response, dispatching additional forces to back up Vlar and Bear. The allies moved swiftly, setting up flanking positions around the Korlax camp. The stage was set for a showdown, one that would determine the future of the Alliance. As the forces converged, the pets were instrumental. Bear led the charge, barking commands that directed the human soldiers, while Vlar coordinated with his fellow Olvix. The Korlax, caught off guard, scrambled to defend themselves as the Alliance launched a surprise attack. Months after the victory against the Korlax, the Intergalactic Alliance flourished. With the newfound respect for pets, a series of cultural exchanges began, allowing different species to share their own experiences and the significance of companionship. Captain Orr and Commander Thompson became ambassadors of this new ideology, traveling to various planets to promote understanding and cooperation. During a visit to the planet Gornax, Orr found himself in the midst of a vibrant festival, celebrating their ancient traditions. Gornaxians, known for their bioluminescent skin and fluid movements, welcomed the Alliance with open arms. Among them were the T-Koli, a species of intelligent avian creatures that thrived on communication and had a keen sense of empathy. As K-Or walked through the festivities, he noticed the Gornaxias interacting with their peasants resembling Earth's parrots, but much larger and more colorful. "Look at their bond," he remarked to Thompson, watching as a Gornaxian played a melodic tune on a flute, and the T-Collie danced around, their feathers shimmering with radiant colors. "Every culture expresses this connection differently," Thompson replied, smiling, "but the love and loyalty are universal." That night, the Gornaxians hosted a banquet, showcasing their culinary arts. As they feasted, K-Or noticed that several T-Collie had settled at the table, sharing scraps of food and engaging in playful banter with their companions. The atmosphere was lively, filled with laughter and camaraderie, proving that no matter the species, friendship was a common thread that wove them together. During the festivities, an unexpected arrival disrupted the joyous occasion. A Korlax envoy entered, a tall figure draped in dark armor, with an aura of tension that filled the room. All eyes turned to the newcomer as K-Or's heart sank. "We seek a truce," the Korlax envoy declared, voice echoing with authority. "We have come to offer an alliance against a common enemy." The room fell silent. K-Or exchanged glances with Thompson, the unease palpable. "What do you mean?" Thompson asked, standing to face the envoy. "The threats from beyond the stars grow ever more menacing," the Korlax continued. "We face an imminent danger, one that seeks to destroy all life, including yours and ours. The Korlax, as formidable as we are, cannot combat this alone." K-Or's mind raced. The Korlax had been humiliated, but now they were offering an alliance. It felt like a trap, yet he also sensed a truth in the envoy's words, something dire lurking beneath the surface. "What threat do you speak of?" K-Or asked, arms crossed defensively. "The Glacians," the envoy replied, voice steady. "A race of conquerors from the fringes of the galaxy. They have begun to gather their forces, and if we do not unite, we will all be eradicated." After a tense discussion, the alliance decided to hold a summit to discuss the proposal. K-Or, Thompson, and the Korlax envoy met with leaders from various species, including representatives from Gornax, who were known for their wisdom and strategic thinking. As they gathered in a grand chamber, K-Or took a deep breath, trying to quell the unease in his gut. "If we consider this alliance, we must approach it cautiously. The Korlax have shown themselves to be ruthless, but if what they say is true, we cannot afford to dismiss their warning." Thompson nodded in agreement. "We need to assess the threat level and understand the Glacians. If they are as formidable as the Korlax suggest, we will need every advantage we can muster." The Korlax envoy listened intently, the tension in the room palpable. "I assure you, our people have no desire for further conflict. We wish to preserve our existence just as much as you do." K-Or met the envoy's gaze, searching for sincerity. "Then we must work together to gather intelligence on the Glacians. Our pets can assist in this. Their instincts and abilities are unmatched, especially in reconnaissance." As the summit concluded, a decision was reached. A united front would be formed to investigate the Glacian threat. K-Or, Thompson, and the Korlax envoy organized a team of pets and their human counterparts to scout the area where the Glacians were rumored to be assembling. The team included Bear, Shadow, and a T-Collie named Zephyr, known for its aerial prowess and sharp intellect. As they prepared for their mission, K-Or felt a mix of apprehension and determination. This was a new path, one filled with uncertainty. As they set out, K-Or watched as Bear led the way, his nose to the ground, sniffing for scents that would guide them. Shadow prowled through the underbrush, her movements smooth and silent. Zephyr flew overhead, scouting the terrain for any signs of danger. The group traveled for days, covering vast distances and staying hidden from potential threats. As they reached the outskirts of Glacian territory, K-Or noticed something alarming. "We're not alone," he whispered, motioning for the team to hold. Through the trees, they spotted a group of Glacians, their crystalline armor glinting in the sunlight, with weapons that crackled with energy. K-Or's heart raced as they listened intently, gathering information. "They're planning a massive assault," Zephyr reported from above, landing gracefully beside K-Or. "Their numbers are far greater than we anticipated." "We need to get this information back to the Alliance," Thompson urged. eyes wide with concern. If we don't warn them, we risk being overwhelmed. As the team turned to leave, a loud crash echoed through the forest. The Galatians had spotted them. Or felt the adrenaline spike as they sprinted through the trees, Bear leading the charge, his instincts guiding them to safety. Shadow darted through the underbrush, and Zephyr took to the skies, providing aerial support. Stick together, Thompson shouted, as they navigated through the dense foliage. The Galatians were relentless, their shouts echoing behind them as energy blasts tore through the trees, narrowly missing the team. Or's mind raced. They needed a plan, but time was running out. We have to split up, he shouted. Bear, lead Thompson toward the river. Shadow and I will create a distraction. Are you sure? Thompson asked, concern etched on his face. It's our best chance. We'll regroup at the rendezvous point, Or replied, determination fueling his words.